Hey everybody. So in today's Euro game, Slovakia defeated Russia 2-1. I managed to catch most of the match. I thought it was a well-deserved win from the Slovaks. Uh, Marek Hamšík is the man of the match. He had a really good game, and once again, Russia put in a very lackluster display. If anything, they were worse than they were in the game against England last week. And this is a team that is, I think, the second oldest entering in this tournament, and they just don't look good. There's hardly any creativity going forward in attack, and Slutsky's men just they look like they run out of ideas very early on in the game, and they were lucky to get one back towards the end. And it wasn't really until the last 10 minutes where Russia really started pressing forward, looking for an incredible equalizer like they did against England, and they couldn't pull it off again. They stole a point against the English. They tried to steal a point here against the Slovaks after going 2-0 down, but it just wasn't in the cards. And now Russia is not eliminated, but they're on 1 point after 2 games, and they have to beat Wales next week to stand a chance to get out of this group. And I'm not sure they can do that. This does not look like a really good Russian side. They need to completely revamp their squad, get rid of some of the older players because they're going to be hosting the World Cup in 2 years' time, and if they don't make any necessary reforms, some changes to the team, they're going to be humiliated on home soil in 2018. So that's it for my thoughts on the Russia-Slovakia game. Romania-Switzerland. I thought this game had a draw written all over it, and that's exactly how it ended, in a draw. Switzerland were clearly the better team, just man for man and overall quality throughout the match. But Romania had some spells where they really controlled the tempo of the game, and they went ahead with a penalty kick. Some argue it should not have been a penalty. I think it was a penalty. They went away at Bogdan Stanku, scored his second goal and second penalty of the tournament so far. And I think it was Gemaili in the second half for the 57th minute for the Swiss brought things all level again. And it was an excellent strike in the back of the net off a corner. I think a draw is just about the right result for both teams. That's pretty much what they both deserved. But Switzerland will be happier with it because now they have 4 points. And in a tournament where the best third-place teams advance, 4 points, they're very likely going to go through either as the second team in the group or the third-place team in the group. Romania now have to win their last game against Albania, who sits on 0 points in this group. And you know what? I think Romania will beat Albania and will get 4 points to go through as one of the best third-place teams. Now, speaking of Albania, I just watched the Albania versus France game, and I got to be honest with you, France was very unimpressive. It wasn't just a matter of Albania playing 10 men behind the ball, but Albania actually pushed forward and tried to create chances, and they gave France a game. They held them off for 89 minutes until Griezmann's header stole the game for them right at the end in the 89th minute. And some people think that France don't deserve this win because of the performance they put in. I think Deschamps got his lineup wrong. You see, he took Martial off and put Pogba in right at the beginning of the second half. That shows you that he realized he made a mistake starting Martial instead of putting Paul Pogba in right from the beginning once the kickoff began. So I think that the scoreline 2-0 between France and Albania, it doesn't really reflect, it doesn't tell the story of what this game was like, because Albania valiantly staved off the French attack for almost the entire game. They almost got a point out of this. It would have been a huge point for them and a big disappointment for France, but Payet and Griezmann scoring in the end. Really, it's Dimitri Payet who, in my opinion, has been the best French player so far for France in this tournament. He's the reason why they got the 3 points against Romania, and he's the reason why he made France seemingly beat Albania in a fashion that doesn't do the game justice. the scoreline 2-0 is not reflective of the game itself. France were very lucky not to come away from this dropping 2 points. And Albania is going to feel really hard done by and heartbroken. Now they enter their last game against Romania, needing a win to even stand a chance to advance as one of the best third-place teams, because they're on 0 points after 2 games. So I think this was an overall very disappointing performance from France. They need to improve, because if they keep playing like this, not only will they not win this tournament, but they might not even get to the semifinals. And I'm being serious, because once the quarterfinals roll around, that's when the serious business comes about. And if they don't improve as this tournament goes on, if Deschamps doesn't get his lineup correct, they're not winning this tournament on home soil. So that's it for my reactions for today's European games. I think we have 3 games tomorrow, which are Wales versus England. That's going to be a great one to watch. The big Battle of Britain rivalry. We also have Germany against Poland, and we also have Ukraine against Northern Ireland. So we have 3 British teams playing tomorrow: England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. My thoughts: England need to come out getting a win here, because they dropped a win against Russia last week. Wales are flying high with confidence, and what's more, playing against their neighbors, they're more heralded, more praised rivals, the English. They want to prove a point in this game. They're going to come out looking for a win or at least a draw. They're not going to sit back and just play like the way Russia did against England in the first game last week. So this is going to be a very exciting match, because you have an English team that wants to get 3 points. They really need to get 3 points. And a Welsh team that doesn't want to give anything to their main rival. So I think this match has all the makings either for a narrow victory for England or a draw. And I'm going to predict a draw. I just think Wales are going to be able to do it. They're going to be able to force a draw with England. And they might even score, might even get on the board. So I'm going to say Wales, England. It's going to be a draw, maybe a scoreless draw, like 0-0 or 1-1. And the next match against Germany and Poland, this is going to be another excellent match. This is a very important game in Group C. Both of them won their opening games against Ukraine and Northern Ireland, respectively. And these are 2 teams that are very familiar with each other. Not only are they neighbors, but they played against each other twice in their European Cup qualifying group. Poland beat Germany once, Germany beat Poland once. And I think that having the experience of already played each other a couple of times, it's an advantage for Poland in this group, more so than it is for the Ukrainians. And I think that given Germany's historic tendency to drop points in their second game of international competitions, I think this is going to end in another draw. So I think there's going to be another draw tomorrow between Germany and Poland. Maybe 2-2. It might be a high-scoring game. And then that leads us to the final game tomorrow, which is between Ukraine and Northern Ireland. Now, this is Northern Ireland's last game before they play the Germans, and they really desperately need to get something out of this encounter, and I think they can get something out of this. If Ukraine or Northern Ireland drop any points tomorrow, their chances of getting out of this group is very, very slim. Because with the Northern Irish, they have a game ahead against Germany. They won't win that game. They'll lose to the Germans. And then you have Ukraine, who, if let's say they get a draw against Northern Ireland, then they go into their last match against the Poles, needing a win, only on 1 point after 2 games, when they could have gotten a possible 6. So I think that Ukraine versus Northern Ireland, I just feel like Ukraine's defense, they conceded only 4 goals in qualifying. That was only the third. They recorded the 3rd best defensive record in qualifying. I think only Romania and Spain did better than them. And I just don't know if Northern Ireland can beat them. I don't know if they can get on the board against them. I'll say Northern Ireland will score. I think Northern Ireland will score. Um, I don't know who. Maybe Jamie Ward or Kyle Lafferty or Mick Ginn or something. But I'm going to give the edge here to Ukraine. I thought Ukraine had some really good chances to level the game with Germany last week. They really could have tied the game. If they hadn't given away that late goal, the end to Bastian Schweinsteiger on the counterattack, losing 2-0. So I think is gonna beat Northern Ireland and just stay at the heels of Poland's feet, uh, nipping at them from behind to remind them, hey, we're in this group too. We're competing for second as well. So it's not a dead giveaway that Germany and Poland are going to just be the top two teams in this group. There really is not that much difference in quality between Poland and Ukraine overall. In fact, history says Ukraine is a better team. They have a better head-to-head record against the Poles, especially in the last decade. So that's it for my predictions for the games tomorrow and my reactions for today's games, the European Championship. I think that Ukraine will beat Northern Ireland. Sorry to any of my Northern Irish fans. I think it'll be 2-1. I think Northern Ireland will score, but I think Ukraine will get the win. Um, and it won't be an easy win either. It won't be. So Ukraine will beat Northern Ireland, and I think the other two games, Germany versus Poland and Wales versus England, those both games will be a draw. So I think it's going to be 2 draws tomorrow and 1 win for the Ukrainians. Those are my predictions for tomorrow's Group B and Group C matches of the European Championship. So let me know what you think below. Like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned later for my video later today where I talk about my thoughts on last night's wrapping up of the Copa America group stage games in Group D, as well as my predictions for the quarterfinals of the Copa America, which begin tomorrow. So until then, peace out, and I'll see you later today.